Well, I like it, man. I mean, huh. Let's talk go to market a little bit
Okay.
because um I do also want to touch on product a little bit. I think so you're doing what any decent founder will do, which is you have assumptions about um what you think your community will do on the app. Okay. And I think that that's a good thing because otherwise, you shouldn't be building an app unless you have like this, like a clear vision, right, for what you want
Mhm.
to get out of it. What I want to instill in you though is to decouple your vision from any particular feature set. So, for instance, um, the vision and the mission is to foster a community of Black investors and Black founders. Okay. You may or may not get there via this like voting thing where people vote and then someone pitches. So I think this is a perfectly reasonable place for you to start just because
Mhm.
you've conceived this in your mind and you've mobilized your resources to make this happen. However, what I want to caution you against before we get into go to market is, you know, that may or may not work. And the true test of an entrepreneur is how self-aware they are with themselves and how intellectually honest they are with themselves when the results come in, so to speak.
Mhm.
Right. So I want you to try your ass off to get it to work
Yeah, absolutely.
in its current form. But then where I've seen a lot of founders go wrong is they're just so you have to have a right degree of stubbornness, but I've seen founders drag themselves through the mud for years on something that wasn't working, and it wasn't that the overlying concept wasn't it. It's just that you got to be receptive to like, okay, people don't want to vote; it's too much work. Let's say,
Mhm. Yeah.
okay, so how can we strip that away? Like people may not be voting, but they're really tuning in for the pitches. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Or you see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I just want
Feedback
to
loop.
Yep, I just wanna instill that into you, and, not because I think that this is wrong, but rather I think it's gonna take several iterations of fine-tuning
Mhm.
that perfect mixture of, um, something that achieves the mission, but also is, easily engageable. It just, like, reduces the friction to get the outcome to happen, because
Perfect.
my sense right now and I don't want you to take my word for it. I want you to take the market's word for it.
Mhm.
But my sense is, it, um, it's it sounds like a number. It sounds like a lot of steps, right, for a relatively new app, right? So, for instance, it's going to be hard to get people to download, and then once they download, I don't want you to underestimate how much of an uphill battle it is to get someone to create new behavior,
No, I get it.
and then on top of that, on a new destination. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so it's not that by any means that it's not doable. In fact, what I like about your business is how specific you are with your target market and your intended outcome.
Mhm.
And that to me is a big portion of the battle because I've been doing a lot of these sessions where, people will say, "Hey, we want to be," and it's just like this really broad concept. And in my opinion, they have no hope at getting someone to download it and then use it. And then once they're on there, like there's so many paths of action that you'll get no path of
Yeah.
action.
No, I get you.
I like where you're honed.
Mhm.
It's gonna make the go-to-market a whole lot easier, and we'll get into that. And then just keep in mind that you might get some friction there with the voting and the pitch and or it might pop, and and who the fuck am I? Like ultimately, it's
No,
the market. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
So just keep that in mind. Um, Now, okay, so let's talk go-to-market, which I love talking go-to-market, man. I just do. So I love it, right? I love this little pool that you put yourself in. Why? Because you're thinking 100% the right way. Okay. Tackle influential leaders, let's say, and then use the fact that they have networks to
Mhm.
get their community to jump on the platform. That's going to work on paper. In practice, you will realize that you have less leverage than I think you think,
Mhm.
and therefore, um, you know, getting someone to A, sign up, and then B, tell about, broadcast it to the world like, "Yo,
I
I'm
guess.
on the woke app, like, come
Yeah.
check me out on this."
So, and this is where the whole equity piece with a vesting schedule. Go ahead.
I got you. I
Mhm.
got you. Trust me, I'm hearing you. That the equity piece is cool, and you may get someone there, but the reality of someone whom is worth their salt
I
is
got you.
that they're likely getting a lot of equity off. Like, I get them all the time, like, "Yo, John," I got a few today. "Yo, John, please, can you be on the board of directors or advisors?" So anyone who's worth their salt, if they're taking the equity, like, really quickly,
Mhm.
then there might not be someone whom is worth the equity.
Nah, I
And
got
so there's that catch-22 where I think personally, um, look, try the equity thing, but
you. Mhm.
my sense, right, just me being in my position now where, for instance, I'm not like fucking Bob Johnson, but I'm also not starting. Um, I personally wouldn't do it for the equity for no other reason than, um, you know, I would do it more for the mission, right?
Yeah, yeah, no
For
doubt.
the and, like, I think that the mission itself has more legs than
I got
trying to, get someone to do it for equity. And then, look, if you throw me a couple points, I'll take it, but by and large, I think that your strategy is correct.
you.
You onboard influential people with audiences, and you get them to sign up and then broadcast. What I want to prepare you for is that it will likely be a little bit more nuanced than, "Hey, sign up, I'll give you some equity," and then they blast it out. That would be
No,
fucking awesome.
I feel that, and
Yeah.
that you know how it is, man. It's just like, where do you start?
Mhm.
Fully aware that it may not be where I end up, but
Exactly,
have
exactly.
I analyzed it not too much to where it slows me down, but enough to where I can have a jump off point and say,
Mhm.
hey, I build my parachute as I drop, right? So
Exactly. So I love the way I like that, sense of self-awareness. I think it's really refreshing. And then, that will be a big part of the go to market, to be honest. You're going to spend the most of your time hitting these people up, getting some feedback from them, tweaking, refining your offering, and making the ask really light, as
mm,
light as possible. One
sure.
some of the on the ground, really practical things that I believe will help you is digital assets. So what do I mean? Um, when I do talks, all right, when I get paid to go and do a talk, um, sometimes as part of my pay, I have to do a social post. Other times, I'm doing an engagement, let's say completely for free. Other times I get paid to speak and a social post is optional. What gets me over the edge almost 9 times out of 10, if not 10 times out of 10, is how fly the digital asset is,
Mm,
right? If
mm.
if if it's kinda whack, eh, I'm gonna do the talk, but I'm not gonna share it. So this is like something that's like super, super practical, right? But it's like the cooler your imagery and your branding can look, and
I
you have a graphics team, and for me, it's worth the investment all day. You get a graphics guy, you pay him $500, and they design for $500. You should get 15, 20, if not 25 assets. Okay. And these are assets that are like Instagram feed. So 1080 by 1080. You get a 1080 by 1350, which is the vertical feed. And then you get 1080 by 1920, which is the stories. And it's looks fucking awesome. And the cooler it looks, not so much that it's overdone, but like, a little animated thing, whatever. And you take a quote from them. Like for mine is like, let's say, making the hood rich or whatever, whatever. But like, if you can make them look super fly,
Yeah.
that will help you in just them saying, "I'm on this thing. It's super fucking cool. Check it out."
Here's the other thing, though.
Mhm.
Should it be though that is because my thought was that it wouldn't be broadcast publicly. It's people individually that you would know at the quote unquote same level as you, and so it's more of a slower organic growth And so, and it's a subscription based model. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm still kicking around whether it's $50 a month or $99 a month. So at that
Mm-hmm.
price point, n- not everybody's going to pay that on a monthly basis to have access.
You're introducing additional friction.
I got you.
And I think that's fine when you know you got something.
Okay.
So and look, there's a lot of ways to win, and I'm open to the fact that, you could win it with the exact route that you have in your mind. However, after having been through a number of rodeos, I realized when you're new, you wanna reduce friction. Maybe I could do something like that. Like,
Mm,
right? Like, I put up this thing, "Hey, pay $100." You paid it without even knowing what the sign up was gonna be, just knowing that you trust me and that was gonna be, at least valuable enough. And so when you have that brand, you can do that's what brand allows you to do.
mm,
However, you're newer, and so in my opinion, I would want you to reduce as much friction as possible, and you could be clear and say, "Hey, this is a private beta or a public beta or whatever you want, and it's free for right now. But in my opinion, I need you to prove it out that this works. And by the way, your app is not going to get any good unless you got people using it because that feedback is going to be what gets you to be tight and use, blah, blah, blah. So, and tighten up the features and all this other stuff. So, I don't see the I think it's gonna take you a million years to get a really tight product if, you know, you got every user's gotta pay initially, you
oh,
know? So, me personally, I'm comfortable all day with, yeah, it sucks, like, they could have been potentially paid customers, but just get these people again, this is my approach. Get these people to share it, and that way, you're seeing how people respond to it on Instagram. Never mind the app. You can see the feedback. All that feedback is going to be interesting. Oh, what's this? If you see a lot of people asking the same questions, then you got to adjust your messaging. Oh, it's not clear enough. If you see a lot of people say this is awesome, I'll see you there, then
mm,
it's like, okay, you're onto something. If you see a lot of people follow you back, another good sign. And then, if you're seeing a lot of people follow you back, but then not downloading, and there's some friction there you gotta work on.
so
But mhm,
question.
mhm.
What if I want that fee to be a barrier? And like if I don't want just Joe Schmo public to be on the app because maybe they don't provide value within the community in some way, right? I mean, I can think of a couple partners now that I like boys I grew up with. Well, I wouldn't want necessarily to be in the community because they wouldn't be able. Because I want it to be a brain trust as well, right? So one of the reasons why we're seeding it with individuals who are either successful entrepreneurs, successful professionally, is that they can not only give money, but they can give advice, they can give knowledge, they can
Understand,
give.
understand.
And so then you
Uh,
don't want just your average user on the platform.
I think when you start, you have to, uh, pick a very clear value proposition and stick just into to that until you build trust around that. So, for instance, I'm not saying that that's wrong, but I would say if you were gonna go with being the brain trust, then I would not even do the pitch thing, the startup thing. I would just go with that messaging. Hey, this is a brain trust, let's say,
Okay.
right? And then, but what I don't think will work personally is, hey, we're a brain trust and we're this and we're that and you got to pay, because then you start getting into that territory of you start not fully exploiting the fact that you're in a niche, right? So
Right.
you're already niched down,
Mhm.
and then you want to look, there's going to be plenty of time, bro. There's going to be plenty of time to build the and build all those components. But first, I want you to be a destination where people are like, yo, this is lit. I go on here to do this and I get what I go there for. Does that make sense?
I got
Like,
you. Yeah, absolutely.
so I want a very specific brand promise that you make and can keep every time. Um, and so that, that may or may not be the pitch thing or the brain trust thing or whatever. And then based on what that brand promise is, I think you can tweak your model accordingly. So for instance, if you tell me, hey, this is a elite member, an elite network of, just the top people, and I just need you to pay $50 a month, let's say. Okay, then the price, you're right. Then the price isn't friction because the value proposition is, hey, it's an elite network of people.
Mm-hmm.
But if you say, hey, this is an elite network of people, and it's also a pitch competition, and then you start introducing like all these other you start losing some of that, you know. So it's either you do the private network thing, or you say, hey, um it's kind of going to be up to which one you think will um be successful easier, quicker to start.
Mm-hmm.
And that will be based on your own specific network and skills. So, like, if what you have more of are the people that are the experts, then there's that. But then, um, if you wanted to really do the pitch your business thing, I wouldn't introduce any friction into getting people to upload their business, because for me personally, the more businesses you have, I think that would be a great problem. I want you to be like, fuck, there's too many Joe Schmoes, because you have 500 people who signed up and uploaded their businesses. And by the way, that's data you're collecting,
Yeah.
right? And then you can use that and then prospect more notable people and say, hey, by the way, we've had 500 businesses sign up in just a short while. And out of the 500 businesses, 25% of them are generating 250K plus in revenue. And, so I want you to collect data like industry, revenue, all that kind of stuff. And I think that will just happen easier with no paywall. But now look,
Okay.
again, I'm look, there's a number of different ways to win. That's something that I've been humbled by over especially doing venture capital. I've seen founders take things that I didn't personally agree with and knock it out of the park. Um, I do just think, by and large, since you're a startup and resources are tight and time frame is tight, um, I think it makes sense to make to silo out the experiments. So if you throw everything against the wall, you kind of don't know what works, versus like you silo it out and then you exhaust that and say, okay, this definitely didn't work. Okay, this definitely this one worked. And then you just keep following that until it stops working. And then you just keep going. And then you know what I'm saying? And that will lead you, all those set of learnings will lead you to what the product will evolve into, which, who knows what it ends up being. But was that helpful? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I mean, it definitely, man, giving me a different perspective on because that was really the biggest part too. Like, should I charge? How much should I charge? I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
know that by charging, you limit who can be on the site, but do I want to limit who's on the site, or do I, and so, and those are the thoughts that I've been
Understood.
struggling with. But
Mhm.
you've given me definitely another perspective, another angle to take a look at it. So,
Understood. And just remember, I don't want the takeaway to be, hey, I shouldn't charge. I want the takeaway to be, hone in on what the value prop is and then optimize for that.
sure.
So if you're gonna go elite network, blah, 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 then that makes sense to charge for. But if you want to optimize for volume of business on their pitching, then it doesn't work. So, I just want the North Star to be the initial value prop that you want to lead with,
Hmm.
and then back the pricing model and everything and the features, back it all into that.
Hmm.
And then you go to market and then you duke it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel it. I feel it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, hey, keep me posted, man. I think this is interesting. And you have some questions that you have to answer, um, I think that if you keep this in mind, I am confident you'll land on whatever feels right for you, and with the respective like thing that you're trying to introduce to the world. So keep me posted on it. I definitely want to keep tabs on it and support how I can and share it and see if there's interest from my community. Because
Yeah.
ultimately, I think someone with like my kind of audience is the exact type of person that you probably want.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. In the next couple months, I'm putting together a list of people that I want to seed it with.
uh-huh.
Um, so I want to seed it with 50, but
Okay.
I'm gonna do a presentation to 70 and see who's going. So I'll keep you on the list for that. If you're interested, you could tune in. If not, then.
Sounds good, man.
I appreciate your time, man. I know you got to go. So.
No doubt, man. It was great to connect, and hit me anytime, man. That's my personal email that I set my schedule on.
Got it. Appreciate you, man. Good luck.
Thank you, bro. Peace.
All right.